MMA fighters are willing to do anything to get the win because that's what it takes to compete at the highest level. But when two professional fighters are giving it their all, fighting for up to 25 minutes, serious injuries can happen. I'm Walker from Full Mount MMA, and in today's video, we're going to be looking at 10 fighters who got seriously hurt in MMA. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to subscribe and click the bell icon to be notified when we post the next one. Also, be sure to check out our last two installments of fighters who got seriously hurt in MMA and tell us anyone you think we've missed out on. Gabriel Benitez. Recently, the UFC made their big return, holding 3 events in only 1 week, and on May 13th, we got UFC Fight Night Jacksonville, where Gabriel Benitez faced off against Omar Morales. Partway through the fight, Benitez's shin started bleeding, but he continued to fight until the match was over. After the fight, we got a better view of his shin, and it wasn't pretty, with the bone even being visible. Unfortunately, he lost the fight by unanimous decision, but continuing the fight with an injury like that is still respectable. Benitez later posted pictures of his shin from during and after the fight on his Instagram, and they're hard to look at. Jared Hess. We're jumping a ways back for this next one, back to May in 2010 when Alexander Shlemenko faced off against Jared Hess at Bellator 20 in San Antonio, Texas. Shlemenko landed a knee in the 3rd round of the fight before following Hess to the ground, continuing to strike. When Hess tried to stand up, the ref waved off the fight and we got to see what happened to Hess's knee. The injury was only worse when we saw him sit on a stool with his leg bending in a way that it definitely shouldn't be.
Before you sign off, I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you. Some of us pray, some of us just say a good thought. I would ask anybody and everybody, anybody who's watching or anybody in this room, Jared Hess is an awfully good guy. And whoever you say a word to try to make sure that all good thoughts are kind of pointed in his direction. He obviously suffered a very substantial injury tonight. I hope and pray that it's an injury that he's able to come back from and get back into the cage shortly, because I know it's what he does and I know it's what he loves. He's an awfully good guy. And so I would ask everybody to just think a good thought or say a short prayer for Jared Hess, because he's a good kid, and I wish him all the best.
After a bad year in 2011, Hess would be let go of by the promotion and hasn't had a professional bout since then. Hofonix vs. Daniel Magical. Back in 2018, Hofonix faced off against Daniel Magical at FMMA 2, but the round didn't last that long. There was some back and forth while they were on their feet, but eventually Magical would throw a leg kick, and if you've watched our other injuries videos, you know that's where things go south. After the leg kick, he stepped back onto his leg and it crumpled beneath him. Hofonix continued to rush him as he fell back with his leg still crumpled there, but the ref immediately waved off the fight. The ref waving the fight off as quick as he did still didn't change how hard this injury is to watch. After the ref called the fight, you could see the medical staff rushed over and the fans were blown away by what just happened. Jack Colshaw. Jack Colshaw is an amateur MMA fighter from the UK who faced off against Zach Edwards at Almighty Fighting Championship 10 back in 2018. During the fight, Colshaw got a left hook, flooring Edwards before getting the TKO. But this injury didn't take place during the fight, it took place in the celebration. After his fight, Colshaw jumped up on the side of the cage, and when he jumped down is when the injury took place. Luckily, he didn't break anything, but doctors suspected that he blew his ACL in his right leg and twisted his kneecap. Ultimately, this led to him needing rehab on his right leg before he'd even be able to have rehab on his left leg as well. Doctors suspected that things like fighting and running were already taxing his knees, and the celebration was just the straw that broke the camel's back. Chris Cyborg. Back in July of 2019, Chris Cyborg faced off against Felicia Spencer at UFC 240 as the co-main event on the card. Spencer put up a good fight against Cyborg, taking the fight all the way to a decision, and giving Cyborg her first ever cut she's ever gotten in a fight, and it was one hell of a cut. The cut was deep enough that you could actually see Cyborg's skull.
It's bad. I saw in the mirror, I opened, I can see my
skull?
Yeah,
it's quite deep.
Yeah, 4 stitches. Let me see.
You know, my mom probably know about this cut. You know, it's in the fight. I never have a cut before. You know, it's first time. In the gym a little bit, but you know, in the fight, you just always have the first time. You know, the first thing I was thinking first, I don't want to stop the fight because the cut. And then I was saying, you know, I'm not gonna ask you, Jason, if it's the bad cut, because Jason the last time for Dos Anjos say it's no bad cut. And then it's a really bad cut, you know, but I just think about this, continue the fight, and I don't want the doctor to stop the fight.
Craig Nino. For this entry, we're jumping to October in 2013, when Craig Nino faced off against Nkazimulo Zulu Boy Zulu at EFC Africa 24. It was a back and forth fight, but in the second round, Zulu Boy went for a controversial kick, which put the fight on pause. After the pause, the two went back at it until Zulu went for a massive barrage in the last round, rushing Nino with kicks. Zulu Boy ended up landing a head kick that broke Nino's nose moments before the fight ended, leading to this horrific nose injury. Minotauro Nogueira. Back in 2011, Frank Mir went up against Minotauro Nogueira as the main event for UFC 140. Big Nog was a legend, holding titles in multiple promotions, but Mir managed to get a Kimura in the first round. The only problem was that Big Nog didn't tap, which ended up leading to his arm getting broken, needing screws and a plate. Big Nog didn't regret not tapping though, as he says in an interview with Ariel Helwani.
Man, you know, the decision we take when we was fighting, I was thinking about the winning. I really thought I was going to escape from that submission. We escaped one, two times, and I was trying to move my shoulder in to pull my arm, and the same movement I did that way, he did the way back. And now I could save my shoulder, my elbow, my bonus in the middle. You know, the humero couldn't take the pressure, and now he pulled strong. And it was like two different directions, you know what I mean? I was moving that direction, he was moving that direction. And just right in the middle, I took a lot of pressure.
Nogueira had a difficult time in the sport after that fight, leading to him inevitably retiring in 2015.
You know, I think that's from 2011 for now. I lost, you know, almost half the fight I did, you know. I lost more fights than I won, you know what I mean? So it was, you know, I could have, you know, couldn't do the same performance I used to do, like, you know.
Brandon Vera. Brandon Vera faced off against Thiago Silva at UFC 125 back in January of 2011 in Las Vegas, Nevada. Thiago Silva was a man on a mission, putting on a dominant performance throughout the fight. In the last round of the fight, Silva landed some serious shots on Vera, leading to this horrific nose injury which Joe Rogan compared to Rich Franklin's fight with Anderson Silva.
That's the worst nose I've seen since Rich Franklin's first fight with Anderson Silva. Wow, it might even be worse than that. That's a horribly broken nose.
Although Thiago Silva won the fight by unanimous decision, it would later be overturned to a no contest after it was found that Silva falsified his urine sample. Marcos Reno. For this next moment, we're going back to July in 2014, when Marcos Reno faced off against Christian Tito at Favela Combat 11 in Brazil. It was a back-and-forth fight throughout the first two rounds, with both fighters trading blows. But everything changed when 36 seconds into the final round, the infamous leg kick happened again. Reno went in for a leg kick, which we can hear connect, but when he stepped back onto the leg, it crumpled beneath him. Luckily, Tito quickly realized what happened and didn't follow up with any more strikes, but the damage was done. Unfortunately, Reno hasn't fought since that day, but we hope he's doing well with whatever he's doing now. Michael Bisping. Finally, we get to a massive injury from Michael Bisping's bout against Vitor Belfort at UFC on FX7, Belfort vs. Bisping. The first round of the fight was mostly feeling each other out, except for an accidental eye poke from Belfort. But in the second round, Belfort landed a clean head kick, dropping Bisping before finishing him with punches. After a long career, Bisping would reveal that after his fight with Belfort, his vision in his right eye got so bad that he was barely able to pass the medical exams before a fight, and he was legally blind with that eye.
I passed the test just, but it was, and every time I did, the doctors were like, "We don't recommend that you fight." You know,
Of course.
2200 vision, it's still clinically blind.
Despite all this, Bisping continued to fight professional MMA bouts until late 2017, even claiming the middleweight title.
He was doing fights with a glass eye. He was fighting and won a world championship with one eye.
Bisping wound up retiring after his vision in his good eye started to go as well, but he's kept his career going now, commentating for the UFC and hosting his own podcast.
Check this out. Look at this, baby boys. You know what I mean? You know what I'm saying? You know what I'm saying? That's why I used to wear sunglasses, baby boy. Hold on, let's put that back in.
Holy shit.
Boom. There we go.
Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the special.
Look at that.
That's just about gonna wrap it up for our list of 10 fighters who got seriously hurt in MMA. Thank you so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, be sure to hit the like button down below. There is a lot of content we can't fit into these videos, so be sure to let us know anything that you'd like to see in a future one. Here's our favorite comments from our last installment of fighters who got seriously hurt in MMA. Checkmate said, "My dreams of being an MMA fighter have just been lowered back down to MMA spectator." Jason Sapp said that first chick was looking like Roger from American Dad. Jerry Moon said the narrator sounds like he's describing a rough night bartending at Chili's. Nick Squires says those broken legs are hard to watch. And Luke said, when I see broken skulls, I sometimes think knees to the head should be illegal. And that's gonna wrap it up for the comments. If you want your comment to be featured in the next video, be sure to leave a comment on this one. Special thanks to Lucas for editing the video, and this is another one of the scripts written by me. Our links will be down in the description below. If you're wanting to watch more of our lists, be sure to check out either of these two videos, and subscribe to see when we post the next one. See you guys.